Alright, hey everybody. So this is Christina again, and this is kind of just a follow-up video that I'm making to go along with my workshop to kind of show you guys how you can make this map using a computer on QGis if you wanted to. Also, I apologize, but my birds will be vocal throughout this, I guess, tutorial, so I apologize for that in advance. So QGIS is a GIS software. I'm just going to turn this off for right now. QGIS is a GIS software that is open source, so you can download it even if you're not a student for completely free. And so when you open up QGIS and download it on your computer, you're just going to click Open New Project and this will show up for you. When you want to add layers that you already have, so if we think about this is for my presentation. When you think about the criteria that we're looking at, so we can't have it in certain zones of land. It's supposed to be within a quarter of a kilometer from Meadowvale Shopping Center, and they also want it to be located next to the highway. So there's a few things we need to know. First, we need to figure out where these land use zones are, and so that we can take them out of our suitability or like the possibilities of suitable sites. And then we also are going to need to find Meadowvale Shopping Center, and we're going to need to figure out where the highway is. So the first thing to do is you go to the internet and you go to the Pit Meadows. So because we're doing Pit Meadows, you would type in like Pit Meadows GIS data and you could get to this site. There's a lot of different municipalities that have this sort of equivalent, but some, like Port Coquitlam, doesn't have data that's accessible. You have to ask for it. So if you're going to do this sort of analysis for a project, make sure you actually have access to the data, because sometimes you won't and you'll have to ask. Okay, so to get the like land use zone data, which they call OCP data, I went to Meadows Map View. So this is their online GIS platform. So it's supposed to be accessible for people who like don't have access or don't know how to use GIS programs. You can navigate this pretty easily, but we want to take this and do our own analysis. So what you want to do is you want to select OCP. While zoning might seem like the right thing to do, OCP has a better breakdown of all the zones and also like future zones that they're planning for in their OCP. So you want to select this OCP, and again, this is going to be different for pretty much every municipality because this is called Meadows Map View, and so Coquitlam will have a different one, and etc. So anyways, what you want to do is click Export. You want to select the area, so I'm focusing kind of on like the main part of Pit Meadows, which is downtown-ish. So I'm selecting this main area. I'm going to be going through this a bit quickly, but, you know, I have some background knowledge on Pit Meadows, but, like, whatever context you're working in, you want to make sure the areas you're selecting for data is relevant to what you want to know. So then what you want to do is click Shapefile, and then you want to choose a CRS, so this is like a projection. I usually do this one. It doesn't really matter. This is the most common one for BC right now, at least for where I work. And then you just put in export file name. Then you click OK, download, and then you should be able to have it open here. And so what you want to do is you want to pull it onto your screen, the files. So what you do is you click on this, you click extract all, and then what's really helpful is if you put all your data in one folder so you can see it. So I would want to extract these files in this folder. I'd click select folder, they'd be extracted. I've already done this thinking about like timing, so it's already in here, but that's how you would do it. Okay, so now when you want to insert your layers into your map, you're going to come back to QGIS. You're going to click layer, add vector layer. Vector layers and raster layers are different. raster works on a grid. Vector is very free-flowing. If you don't understand the difference right now, it's okay. We're going to be working in vector. It's something you can look up yourself because there's a distinction, but it's a little bit complicated to explain. So you want to click Add Vector Layer, then these little 3 dots here, and then you come back, you would navigate back to this folder that you just put these files into. So what I do is I usually select all of them, click Open, and then they will populate over here. So in the interest of time, I've already done that. So sometimes you'll get like duplicates. You only need one, so you can just remove them. And now we're going to turn on the layers. Ta-da! So additionally, this project doesn't come with a base map, so I'll show you how to get that. You want to click Quick Map Services. So this is a like add-in that you would get. So I believe you go Plugins, Manage and Install Plugins, and you would look for Quick Map Services and add it, and then it will come up on this toolbar. So you want to click Quick Map Services OSM, which is this is our standard base map. The base map that I use is the up-to-date like Google imagery, but this one is good enough for what we're doing right now, just as an example. Also, it's a little bit detailed if you do the imagery. So now we're going to go back to look at our criteria. So we have some things we need to look for, which is we can't have it in agricultural land, residential land, park or recreation land, industrial land, and they also don't want it in the Middlevale Shopping Center. So that's what we're going to tackle first. So I'm not going to show every single operation because it's basically doing the same process, you're just doing different inputs. So I'm just going to show you the agricultural one. So what you want to do is, I just turn this off just for simplicity. So you want to right click and you want to click Open Attribute Table. Now this is very intimidating for people who don't know GIS. So this basically, each of these represents a polygon. And as you learned in the presentation, a polygon is a type of data layer that looks at area. So this is one polygon. This is a second polygon. So this is all the information on this polygon. And there's different sort of subjects we're looking at, such as the total area, the class, layer name, object ID. This is just like the object ID in a database, so that's nothing to worry about. And a lot of this is like jargony and not really important. The important thing we want to focus on is class. Because this is going to filter, oh look, these are all the agricultural zones. This is the airport zone, business park, civic, etc., etc. So we're going to try to distinguish the agricultural zone from other zones. So what you're going to do is you're going to toggle over here and you're going to click this button, select filter features. Okay, now you get here, again, intimidating, but it's very easy. So just follow along. You want to look at class. That's what I was looking at, pointing to earlier when I was mentioning that, you know, they're separated to agricultural, civic, etc. So you want to put in agriculture and you want to make sure that it's equal to. So in some cases, for instance, if you were doing residential, you can see there's 3 different categories, but you just want all the residential zones. In this case, you could do contains because it would select all the polygons where the class contains the word residential. So again, it's really contextually, the context really matters. But for now, we are just going to do agriculture equals to, select features. Okay, great. So now we have the zones that are zoned for agriculture in their OCP. So, okay, now this is highlighted and nothing else has been done. So if we turn off this layer and turn it back on, the agricultural lands aren't staying and everything else isn't disappearing. So we need to do another step. So what you want to do is right click, export. Now you want to click Save Selected Features As. So you want to do agriculture. So you can name this whatever you want, and then what you want to do, this is the how it's going to be projected. Just keep it the same as the project. So just leave it like that. Click OK. Awesome. So now, as you can see over here, there's two layers now. We have agriculture and the OCP layer. If we turn off the OCP layer, we can now see the agricultural land in Pitt Meadows. Awesome. So now this is what we would replicate to do residential. And again, we can refer back to our criteria. So residential, park recreation, industrial, and the Meadowvale Shopping Center. All right, so now that we have this done, and again, you would do this for the other layers as well, using the same technique. What you would do now is we have another criteria, which is that they want it to be within 1/4 kilometer from the Meadowvale Shopping Center. So first we kind of need to identify where that is. So in QGis, there is a plugin called OSM Place Search. So again, just like you would have done to get Quick Map services, go to Plugin, Manage and Install Plugins. You would search OSM Place Search, and then you would be able to install the plugin. What you're going to do is you're going to click this icon, and I've already done it here, but you would click Name Contains Meadowvale Shopping Center and click this button. Now, it takes us right to the Meadowvale Shopping Center. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a point layer to add a point into the middle of where this shopping center is. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Layer, Create Layer, New Shapefile Layer. We're going to do Meadowvale Shopping Center. And geometry type is going to be point. And also we want to make sure that our CRS is the same as our project so that there's no issues. And we're going to click OK. Now, okay, great, we have this file, but we don't have a point. So what you want to do is you want to click Toggle Editing, Add Point Feature, and ideally you'd want to put it right in the center. I'm going to guesstimate and put it right there. Click OK. Awesome. Then what you want to do is save layer edits, toggle editing. You click that again to turn it off, and we're done with that. So now we have an additional thing we need to do, because now we know where it is, but where the hell is 1/4 kilometer away from this place? I have no idea. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a buffer. So what we're going to do is we're going to select Meadowvale Shopping Center, go to Vector, Geoprocessing Tools, and Buffer. So our input layer is going to be the Meadowvale Shopping Center layer, and you want it to be 1/4 kilometer. So you're going to put in 0.25 kilometers. Leave everything the same. Sometimes you would change this, but for their purposes, just leave it as is. Click Run. Boom. There's our buffer. And so, okay, so now we know where 0.25 kilometers is from Meadowvale Shopping Center. So now what we're going to do is we want to finally figure out how, because we want to find the stuff inside of here, but so right now this is covering what's inside. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a little bit of GIS magic, so bear with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new layer, add layer, add vector layer, or sorry, new layer. See, there's little things that sometimes are a little finicky, can kind of ruin what you're doing. So we're going to do 0.25 kilometer buffer. And it's going to be a polygon, which is important. Want to make sure the projection is the same as our project. Click OK. Now, you kind of want to know the extent of your map. For this purpose, I'm just going to make it this. Okay. So again, you want to turn toggle editing on, new polygon. I'm just going to click exit on this. Okay. And you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Then you want to right click when you're finished with your last point to tell the program that you're done with all your points. So click OK. Okay, great. So we're going to save the changes. So sometimes this happens. GIS is all about hierarchy. So when you want a layer to show, you need to put it on the top. So now you're like, okay, Christina, well, you just put a big box on here. What is that doing? Well, with GIS, so many things are possible. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a geoprocessing maneuver. I don't know what the best way to say this. And we are going to cut the circle out of this square. So what we're going to do is we're going to go vector, geoprocessing, difference. So the input layer will be this new layer we just created. And the overlay is going to be the buffered one we did. So now we're going to click run, close. Boop. There you go. So now with this, we are able to see what is within the 1/4 kilometer of Meadowvale Shopping Center. So I know that is kind of complicated, but that's sort of like a very basic way to do it, and there's probably a better way to do it, but this is just very simple, straightforward, and easy. So there's that. And then the final thing that we need to do based on our criteria is we need to find a site that's located next to Lougheed Highway. Now, while this is very conveniently labeled here for us, it might be nice to have it highlighted, and sometimes base maps won't have these nice road layers, or sorry, these road names. So what we're going to do is turn road segments public on. And so again, this is something that I found when doing this. So if you go to Meadows map view, this was just in, I believe, infrastructure. So it's road classes. So what I did was I did road classes. I did what I showed you before, where when you export, you have to choose a part of the map, export it. And so here we are now. And we want to just highlight the highway. So what we're going to do is similar to what we did before when we took the agricultural bit out of the OCP layer. We're going to go to Open Attribute Table, select, and what's really key is you want to see sort of like what category you need to look at. So for me, I want to know where the highway is. So you can see there's functional, there's lots of local roads, and then there's highway. So you're like, okay, I need to select those. So you want to go to functional, highway, select features, and there you go. So now we're going to click X, right click, export, save selected features as Lougheed Highway. And you want to, again, make sure that your projection is the same as what everything else is in your project. Otherwise, you can come across some issues. So now we're going to delete this layer. I don't need this anymore. And the thing is, this is not super amazingly easy to see. So when you want to change symbology, which symbology is just what is displaying your information on the map. So you want to go to properties, you want to go to symbology, and okay, I want the highway to be, let's just say dark, let's say green. Okay, so this is where like your artistic side can come in. It's really up to you. And I want it to be pretty visible, so I want it to be 1.5 millimeters for right now. You can click apply and then check and be like, oh, that's too big, or that's enough for me. That's okay, actually. So I'm just going to click OK. And there we go. So this was a very basic overview of how to do this. This looks a little bit different than the map that I showed you because there's more processes to be done, especially with the layers for the OCP, but this is just an overview of how to walk through those steps on your own. So yeah, I hope this helped. I hope this was useful for you. And if you ever have any GIS questions, you can always ask. I may not have the answer, but I am always willing to try and help. And thank you so much for coming to my workshop again. And yeah, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day.